I never believed my life would become the kind of story people whisper about over coffee, the kind of tale neighbors pass along like a warning. I was only 30 when everything changed, when love turned into betrayal, and betrayal into revenge. If you're listening now, I want you to understand one thing: I did not choose this path. It was carved for me by the very people I trusted most. My name is Rachel Morgan, and I was born in a quiet town outside Cleveland, Ohio. My childhood was simple. My parents worked hard, taught me to value honesty, and always reminded me that family was the anchor of life. I carried that belief with me, and when I married James at 25, I thought I had found my safe harbor. James was handsome, charming, ambitious, everything a small-town girl dreams of. He made promises of a future filled with love and stability. For a few years, I believed him. We built a home together, had a little girl named Emily, and for a while, life felt picture perfect. But perfection has cracks, and mine began to show when James's family became more involved in our marriage than I ever expected. His mother, Evelyn, was a woman of steel. Sharp-tongued, polished, and endlessly controlling. From the beginning, she looked at me with a kind of disapproval I could never quite name. Maybe I wasn't wealthy enough, refined enough, or simply not the woman she envisioned for her son. Whatever it was, her eyes told me, "You don't belong here." At first, I tried to win her over. I baked pies for family dinners, hosted holidays, dressed the way she liked, even stayed quiet when she criticized how I raised Emily. I thought patience and kindness would melt her heart. But Evelyn wasn't the type to melt, she was the type to sharpen her knives behind polite smiles. The true unraveling began when James started spending longer hours at work. He grew distant, colder, less present. I noticed the faint scent of unfamiliar perfume on his shirts, the way he guarded his phone, the excuses that didn't quite line up. I told myself I was imagining things, that every marriage had seasons, that he still loved me. But deep down, a knot was forming in my stomach. The confirmation came not from James, but from Evelyn. One evening, after dinner, she leaned close to me and whispered with quiet satisfaction, "Men like James don't stay loyal to weak women. You'll see." My heart froze. The cruelty wasn't just in her words, it was in the way she relished saying them. That was the night I knew. James was unfaithful, and his mother approved of it. When I confronted him, he didn't deny it. He looked at me with cold detachment and said, "You've always been too emotional, Rachel. Maybe if you were stronger, I wouldn't have looked elsewhere." The floor of my life collapsed. The man I loved, the father of my child, had not only betrayed me but blamed me for it. Evelyn's poison had worked perfectly. I should have left then. Packed my things, taken Emily, and walked away. But life is never that simple. The house, the finances, everything was in James's name. Evelyn had encouraged him to cut me out of every decision, every document, every protection. I was trapped. And worst of all, Emily adored her father. I couldn't tear her world apart, not yet. 4 months, I lived in silence. I cooked, cleaned, smiled at neighbors, pretended everything was fine. Inside, I was breaking. Depression wrapped itself around me like chains. I cried in the shower so Emily wouldn't hear. I lost weight, lost sleep, lost pieces of myself I thought I could never recover. But one night, something shifted. Emily, just 6 years old, climbed into bed with me. She touched my face with her little hand and whispered, "Mommy, why are you always sad? Why don't you fight?" Her words cut deeper than any betrayal. In that moment, I realized my silence was teaching her the wrong lesson. I was showing her that women endure, but I wasn't showing her that women rise. And I promised myself that night, I would rise. Revenge wasn't a decision made in anger. It was made in clarity. Evelyn and James had underestimated me. They thought I was weak, too broken to resist. What they didn't know was that silence had given me time to observe, to learn, to prepare. I began collecting evidence. Slowly, carefully. I went through James's emails, his bank accounts, the hidden statements he thought I'd never see. I discovered not only his affair but also financial fraud in his business. He was siphoning money, manipulating accounts, building a house of cards that could collapse with a single push. I documented everything: screenshots, printed records, recordings of Evelyn's venomous words. I built a case brick by brick, like an architect of my own revenge. On the outside, I remained the dutiful wife. On the inside, I was sharpening my weapons. Months later, I made my move. It was Evelyn's birthday party, a grand affair with friends, business partners, and family gathered in her lavish home. I wore a simple black dress, quiet and unassuming. No one expected the storm I was about to unleash. After dinner, as glasses clinked and laughter filled the room, I stood. My voice was steady, my heart pounding with a strange mix of fear and power. I laid it all out. The affair. The financial fraud. The betrayal. Proof stacked on proof, undeniable, undeniable. Gasps filled the room. Evelyn's smile froze. James's face turned ashen. But I wasn't done. I handed the evidence to two men waiting at the door, federal investigators I had contacted weeks earlier. Within minutes, whispers turned into chaos. James was led away in handcuffs, his empire crumbling in front of everyone who once admired him. Evelyn screamed, begged, threatened, but it was useless. Her world shattered as mine was rebuilt. I didn't stop there. With the evidence I'd gathered, I secured my financial freedom, won custody of Emily, and took back everything they tried to steal from me. For years, they had painted me as weak. That night, I painted myself as unstoppable. But revenge is never as sweet as people imagine. It doesn't erase the scars. It doesn't restore lost years. What it does is restore something deeper: dignity. The power to look at the mirror and no longer see a victim, but a survivor. Today, Emily is grown, thriving, strong. She tells me often, "Mom, you taught me that no one has the right to break us. We bend, but we don't break." And perhaps that's the true victory, not the downfall of James or Evelyn, but the rise of the little girl who once asked her mother to fight. I'm telling you this now because I want every woman listening to know, silence is not safety. Endurance is not strength. There comes a time when you must rise, not just for yourself, but for the generations watching you. My name is Rachel Morgan. I was 30 when betrayal tried to destroy me. But betrayal built my revenge, and revenge gave me back my life. And if you remember nothing else, remember this: the price of silence is always higher than the cost of fighting back.